I don't know how you can reconcile this. Like, I mean, give me a break. Here is Kamala Harris in Guatemala. She was in Guatemala. She was in Guatemala. She had just met with I believe she had just met with the president. And
it's very Trumpian, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also Obamian. Frankly, they did the same thing.
He is.
Oh, no, the other
he's like yeah.
But this policy of trying to sort of like convince people don't come. I mean, it is. Well, let's listen to it.
And I want to emphasize that the goal of our work is to help Guatemalans find hope at home. At the same time, I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border. There are legal methods by which migration can and should occur. But we, as one of our priorities, will discourage illegal migration. And I believe if you come to our border, you will be turned back. So let's discourage our friends, our neighbors, our family members from embarking on what is otherwise an extremely dangerous journey, where in large part the only people who benefit are coyotes.
It's illegal to deny refugees coming to this country.
I think
the legal process is seeking asylum. Yeah.
This is a weird thing for her to say. I believe you will be sent back. Like, I can't tell if this is more for domestic consumption in this country than in Guatemala. 100%. Right? Like, they are so afraid of immigration as an issue that I get the sense that that it is like to prove their bona fides in this country, because I get the idea that they want to discourage people from coming, but you've just like, that that's not the case. Like, you're down there. The whole mission is to try and figure out how we can provide aid and stabilize these countries that we have historically destabilized so much. Yeah. And by every possible mechanism, some on purpose, some not on purpose. And she knows why people come up from Central America. It's not because the issue of what's happening at the border is secondary to what's happening where they live. And they head up there and they'll take the risk. They're not going to not go because she says that. It just is like, she must know that's completely ineffectual. They're doing it just for domestic consumption in this country.
Well, luckily, Sam, luckily Fox News picked it up and gave her credit and said, thank you, Kamala Harris, for being so tough on immigration, because that's good. You know, if it's for a domestic audience, who is it for? Who is it for?
It's for the right. It is for
and they don't care. They'll still say that she's soft on immigration anyway.
And
they'll blame them.
And it muddies the waters here. It completely it is. That's my point. It's why I think it's crappy politics.
I was there, whatever it was, 6 weeks ago in Guatemala, and I met this guy. I don't know if I talked about this on the show before, but I met a guy who actually went to the border. He was a guide for me on a hike, and he just started talking to me about his experience leaving Guatemala. He has a few kids, and literally every step of the way, all of the things that happened to him along the way with the coyotes, with the different centers he was being held in different parts of Mexico, the truck that he was like hiding under, how they caught him, how they put him in a room stuffed with I think it was 500 other people in a very small room, the air conditioning, every little step of the way, things that we don't even know. Like, they put him in a workers camp for a week and paid him $1 a day because legally the US government is supposed to provide money so they can get back home. And how did they give him the money? So he had to be a farm worker before they could give him the money, put him on a plane, and send him back to Guatemala City so he could have $7 to go from Guatemala City 5.5 hours away to his town. So What I want to know on her fact-finding mission is this. There are some things that she could do and the administration could do if you want to play this game of like, don't come to the border. How about getting rid of the workers' camps at the border? How about, it's not just ending the private prisons at the border. How about shutting down half of those private prisons and putting up, instead of detention centers, having some sort of relocation center? Like, if you're going to play this part and be anti-Trumpian, what is your incremental approach? That's what I want to know, because he told me, as most people who've done the migration to the border, that he was completely unaware. And if he had known, he wouldn't have come, even though the circumstances were so dire. So nothing she said is going to penetrate into Central America. Nothing that she says. And yes, the coyotes make a lot of money, but let's be real. I mean, we understand the systemic issues here at play and who's to gain. I just don't understand why they can't come out with some sort of like incremental path of getting out of this situation.
I think it's just like another one of those issues that they're like, we're going to try and see if we can avoid this. Like, we're just gonna play a completely defensive game.
Well, I mean, just really quickly, I'm sorry. Biden, of course, throws this onto Kamala Harris because the VP gets the scut job. And so she's getting, she'll get criticized from the right no matter what she says, no matter if she repeats Jeff Sessions's talking points word for word. And then Lester Holt interviewed her. It was either this morning or last night, and he was like, "Have you even been to the border? Have you So even if this is performative for the Beltway media, they're not even going to stop criticizing her, because they'll take it and filter it from Fox News and make it more respectable, and then they will criticize her on it anyway. So this is for zero people, even if they're not naive in the way that I alluded to earlier, and this isn't for Fox News and the right wing and whatever to appease them. If it's for the Beltway media, which is the only other option, that still makes no sense.
Yeah, so I watched that and I just thought she's completely inequipped for crises moments like this. And I'm not saying it came from her, but it was like heartless. It was completely like, I don't understand how you could echo Trump's talking points 4 months later after you were at the border saying it was inhumane, just last year. It just seemed like political. I'm like, she's not experienced. I don't mean to say it any other way, but I was like, and I don't want this to be gendered, but the reality is like, how is this?
Well, she's
how
not
is this
freelancing,
happening?
But I mean, come on, she's not freelancing. She's not out there.
No, I know. I mean, but that's the administration. How stupid are you?
Yeah, it's the administration.
The stupidest thing.
They wrote that for her. She's not freelancing.
But she can push back and say, listen, let me come up with some sort of solution. Well, I just presented an incremental approach that I came up with that. Theirs is to echo Trump's
thinking about 2024.
Exactly. And that's not going to be good for it.
I agree.
It sounded weak. It sounded like they didn't know what they were doing. It sounded like she was reading a screen card and she's like, what country am I in right now? I'm on the world tour. Guatemala. Okay, thanks.
Very reminiscent to me as to their Israel-Palestine policy, which is like, we were hoping nobody would notice that we were in the White House during these crises, and we just thought we could let it slide.